This was definitely some crazy news to wake up to. Just mere days after the really sad news about Bernard Hill passing away. R.I.P. Man, that sucks that we're losing all these actors from these movies. But the some big news coming out of the world of Middle Earth, and this is via Variety. So like last year we had, I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago, Warner Brothers announced that there was some new Lord of the Rings projects being made, apart from the War of the Rohirrim movie coming out this year, the animated film, and separate to the Amazon stuff, obviously, because Amazon's doing their own thing. The quality of that, I guess that's up to you. I don't really have any interest in watching it because I think it's a lot of fan fiction because they don't have the rights to most of Tolkien's work, so they're making up a lot of it. But on the other hand, Warner Brothers owns the rights to the three books, The Hobbit, and I think a bunch of the appendices, and I think the Silmarillion. I'm not sure though. So Warner Brothers to release new Lord of the Rings movie, The Hunt for Gollum, in 2026. Peter Jackson to produce and Andy Serkis to direct. Wow, like I read this morning and I'm like, no way. You got Peter Jackson back and Andy? And by the way, I got to meet Andy last year. It was really cool. I went to what was it called? It used to be called Wizard World. Now it's called, is it Fan Expo? Yeah, I went to the one in Chicago or near Chicago, and I got a photo with Andy. This is what it says. Warner Brothers will release the first of its new batch, which is an interesting wording there, which means we're getting more than one, of live action The Lord of the Rings films in 2026, which will focus on Andy Serkis's Gollum. Original The Lord of the Rings trilogy filmmaker Peter Jackson and his partners Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens are producing the movie and will be involved every step of the way. Now that's good news. Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav said during an earnings call Thursday. The project is currently in the early stages of script development from writers Walsh and Boyens, along with Phoebe Giddens and Artie Papagiorgio. I feel like I've heard that name before. And will quote explore storylines yet to be told. Don't be making stuff up. I don't want you to do that. There's plenty of material that can be mined for this. You don't need to make stuff up. In a press release from WB later Thursday morning, the studio revealed that the working title for the film is Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum, and it will be directed by and star Serkis in his iconic titular role. The film will be executive produced by Ken Kamens. See, I don't know any of these people. With Serkis and the Imaginarium's Jonathan Cavendish. I'm going to have to look up some of these names. Warner Brothers first announced, yeah, I was right, it was, well, last year. First announced in February 2023 that the then newly installed studio's leaders Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi had brokered a deal to make multiple films based on the beloved Tolkien books. The projects will be developed through WB label New Line Cinema, of course. Free Mode, a division of Embracer Group, made the adaptive rights deal for books including Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit under a venture named Middle-earth Enterprises. We talk about War of the Rohirrim is out this December. Hope it's good. Quote, for over 2 decades, moviegoers have embraced the Lord of the Rings film trilogy because of the undeniable devotion Peter, Fran, and Philippa have shown towards protecting the legacy of Tolkien's works, and to ensure audiences could experience the incredible world he created in a way that honors his literary vision. DeLuca and Abdi said in a statement Thursday. We are honored they have agreed to be partners on these 2 new films, with Andy coming aboard to direct Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum. We continue an important commitment to excellence that is a true hallmark of how we all want to venture ahead and further contribute to the Lord of the Rings cinematic history. Jackson, Walsh, and Boyens added, it is an honor. I didn't even see these earlier today. I didn't read these. It is an honor and a privilege to travel back to Middle-earth with our good friend and collaborator Andy Serkis, who has unfinished business with that stinker Gollum. Does he? As lifelong fans of Professor Tolkien's vast mythology, we are proud to be working with Mike DeLuca, Pam Abdi, and the entire team at WB on another epic adventure. Yes, precious, Serkis said, the time has come once more to venture into the unknown with my dear friends, the extraordinary and incomparable guardians of Middle-earth, Peter, Fran, and Philippa, with Mike and Pam and the Warner Brothers team on a quest as well, alongside Weta and our filmmaking family in New Zealand. It's just all too delicious. The original trilogy, helmed by Jackson, grossed nearly $3 billion, blah, blah, blah. The Tolkien's The Hobbit matched those grosses. And they talk about how many awards that trilogy won and how it's Well, they don't mention that it's coming back to theaters. I will definitely be seeing them in theaters. I got to see Return of the King last year in theaters, but I did not see the first two, and they're the extended editions. So I'm of two minds about this. On one hand, I think you can't strike lightning, or lightning is not going to strike again. Like that trilogy was once in a lifetime thing. You had the right people at the right time in the right place with the right resources and the right producers. Like everything went right for that trilogy, which is why it's so incredible. And I mean, he kind of proved he couldn't do it again with The Hobbit. However, I will not put the blame on him for that completely, because I'll get to that in a minute. But I think he's not to blame completely for those films. But yeah, I think it is funny that they're kind of going head to head against Amazon, and like they're kind of just trying to show them up, which is funny to me, because I'm sure Peter is not happy with Rings of Power. I'm sure he would love to have been involved with, like, he would want to do like a Silmarillion or like a Second Age story. He would love to do that probably, or a First Age. Like he would. I think a lot of people want a movie based on the prologue from Fellowship of the Ring, the last alliance of elves and men. That would be a good movie. I think you could do a whole film about that. It would be epic. Uh, the problem with this is, well, we just had that Gollum game, which was a huge disaster and a flop. Maybe the people at Warner Brothers are so out of touch that they thought, oh, everyone's talking about it, it must be good. Well, no, everybody was talking about it because it was a massive joke. So, or, I mean, I don't know, maybe they want to do it properly, because, like, that game, I don't know how closely it followed the lore, but, and I don't know if this is set in the same exact timeline, because The Hunt for Gollum, I think there was a fan film on YouTube about it, and you would need Aragorn. Obviously, I don't think Vigo would ever return, so you'd have to recast him. Uh, and I don't know how you make a 2+ hour film out of this, because I mean, to me it sounds like Andy wants to, because like he wasn't in Fellowship really. He was he was in it for like 2 seconds. I don't think that was even him. It was just before they had the technology to do the mocap stuff. He was heavily in 2 and 3, in Two Towers and Return of the King. Um, and then 10 years pass, and then he gets to do one scene in The Hobbit, which was great. And you can see just how far CG had advanced. Like, his Gollum looks incredible in that scene in The Hobbit. I mean, he still holds up very well in Lord of the Rings, but he looks even better in The Hobbit. So now, and it's been 10 years since then. I know, crazy, right? And so he's going to look even better, presumably, if Weta's doing it. And it sounds like he just wants to do a full movie, but I don't know if Gollum can carry a film. Like, he works as a side character. If he's your main character, I don't know. I don't know how this works. So, very odd choice to basically make a Gollum film. I think there's a million other things, a million other directions you can go, because Tolkien's Legendarium is massive, and there is so many more stories you can do. And this just feels like they want to be close to those the original trilogy. They want to have things you recognize, and it's like they don't want to stray too far from things people know. But it's like, I don't know. You guys need to do something a little bit different, I think. But because as I was saying before, it was not all Peter's fault. The Hobbit was not his fault. He was not given Lord of the Rings. I think he had 3 years of prep time, a lot of prep time. He was brought in last minute on The Hobbit. It was going to be Guillermo del Toro doing it. He left, and they're like, oh no, we need someone ASAP. And they brought in Peter, so he had like no prep time. He wanted to do 2 films. WB forced him to do a trilogy. He ran out of time to do some of practical effects he wanted to do. Like, he wanted the main orc to be like a suit, or like the practical effects from the originals, which still hold up today. And unfortunately, they had to CG over it, and it doesn't really hold up today. Like, that CG doesn't hold up. So he was rushed like crazy on those films. I don't blame him completely on that. And 2 films, it would have been a much tighter story, because he had to. It sounds like he made up a lot of the third film. Like, he came out recently in an interview. I think he said that he had a notebook basically for like the third movie. It was just like going by the seat of his pants. So, not a good way to make a film. So, hopefully they give him more time. If this is supposed to be 2026, so he's going to have, I don't know, maybe maybe a year for prep, maybe half a year for prep, and then probably a few months shoot, maybe longer. It's one film, it's not a trilogy, so maybe 6 months shoot and then a year for post. I don't know. We'll see. That I feel like that'll get pushed, but again, like I said, I'm of two minds with this. I feel like just leave something that's good alone. Don't make any more. Just re-release the three fantastic films. Heck, release The Hobbit. Why not re-release The Hobbit? Why not? Uh, in current day Hollywood, they just want to mine IPs that everybody knows. They can't come up with anything new. But with Andy, the whole crew being back, basically the whole creative crew, Andy, Fran, Philippa, Peter on board, that gives me more faith than Amazon doing it. So let me know what you think in the comments. Is this a good idea? Is it a horrendous idea? I'm not sure yet what I think. I'm split on it. But like, share, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you next time. Peace out.